Here with Kelsey Campbell at the University of Iowa. Been a week of training here with the women's program. How's it been going for you? Do you enjoy this as a change of pace and a great way to get yourself really into the wrestling?
Yeah, I think having the camp here is such a great idea, and I think it's just a good move for the national team to train here and get acquainted with the environment and just to see the program here and to try to glean as much as we can from our time here and from the community to prepare us for trials.
So it's been about 4 years from when you were on the floor of this arena and made the Olympic team. Has it gone quick? Has it been slow? I mean, it's right in front of us again.
I mean, sometimes it feels slow, sometimes it feels quick, but here we are. We're like 2.5 months out, and I still remember it. And you know, in a lot of ways, it's kind of the same thing going into this trials. A lot of things feel very familiar, and so I think I'm just trying to take it one day at a time and just do as many of the right things as I can, and not try to recreate the wheel, but just get the most out of this time because it's going to be here, and I just need to embrace it. So.
Your weight class, you'll be going 58. It's very competitive. Just talk about the challenge as far as becoming the top American. I mean, that's what you're going to have to be in a few months.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's all very familiar. You know, it was challenging before, and I mean, I think there's this misconception that somehow if you make an Olympic team, it's like your odds are better, it's easier. It's not. It's just as tough, if not more tough. The weight class, I think, is probably a little deeper than it was before. And there's I think more of a diversity of styles at the weight class now. Mm-hmm. The rules have changed. So many things are different from 4 years ago. But one thing that hasn't changed is that I still got to compete, and the goal is still to first make the Olympic team and then to win the Olympics. And those things should never change. So I think as long as I stay focused on that, it doesn't really matter what variables there are. I'm still here to do a job, and that's what I'm focusing on.
So you've been down in Arizona, and you went to college there, and there's a lot going on in wrestling right now in Arizona, especially around the Arizona State program. Talk about why that's a good place for you and the kind of support system you have there.
As soon as I found out that Zeke Jones was taking the job at ASU, I actually approached him at the U.S. Open that year, and I just said, hey, I would like to come down, and he said, pack your bags. And I just knew that it's not just about having a good coach or training with a good team, because there's a lot of good teams and a lot of good coaches. You have to train in an environment where the coaching staff understands your goals and they can create an environment where you can be successful. And I mean, who better than Zeke Jones? And he's just created a staff and created an environment. Even the guys on the team are so helpful to me in my goals. Like, they're trying to do what they're trying to do, and they're trying to win NCAA titles, but everyone there has this bigger goal in mind, and it's really awesome to be a part of that. It's really awesome to be in that room around so much talent, and I just feel like I'm in a really great situation.
So in regards to this program, I mean, you've been to an Olympics, you've been wrestling for a while. We've got kids, they're teenagers that are wrestling in matches against you.
Yeah.
Do you feel at some points that people look up to you to kind of give some guidance and be a leader among the women in the program? I mean, you certainly have had a variety of experiences that have brought you to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still just look at myself as an athlete trying to do big things. And but definitely you're approached about certain things more and in a different way. I get asked about coaching a lot now. Yeah. And you know, like, you look at your weight class and you're like, wow, like, I'm wrestling girls I used to coach at clinics. Right. There are girls in my weight class that I used to coach at camps, and now they're my competition. And I think it's cool. And I remember being a younger athlete and looking at some of the more seasoned athletes in that same respect. And but what I think is amazing about it is that I've watched athletes like Clarissa Chun my whole career. I mean, she's a couple years older than me, and I've watched her never let up, and I've watched her to continue to go hard, continue to win, and so that inspires me that nothing really changes. Like, I'm still competing, and I'm still trying to do what I was always trying to do, and that's win, and enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy the process. And so, you know, like, it's great to be a leader in the sport, and I think that comes with titles, and that comes with some credentials. But you can't. I think you can't like ride on the reputation. You still have to show up every day and do the work. And I think that's what makes you a leader.
So you had an opportunity to be involved in the Women's Sports Foundation's big annual activity out in New York City, and they took a wrestler, yourself, and put you out there in front of people, and just talk about what it was like to, feel like you were part of the bigger picture of women's sports.
That was pretty awesome. That was a pretty cool experience. First of all, to get chosen to be a grant recipient, because it's pretty competitive. And I remember applying, and I forgot about it. I knew how tough it was to get chosen, so I forgot about it. And I think I kind of wrote myself off, even though I feel like I meet a lot of the qualifications. And then I found out that I was a recipient, and I got really excited. And then we had this big event in New York, and they asked me about 10 days out if I'd speak at it, and I was just like, what? Because this I've spoken in front of a lot of groups, and I've spoken in front of a lot of wrestling audiences and school age audiences, but this was a mainstream athletic audience, and it was such a cool opportunity. You have people in the audience from ESPN, from Gatorade, from USA Tennis, from all these mainstream organizations that would otherwise never see a wrestler, would have no idea what the struggle or the grind or the journey of a wrestler is if not for that opportunity. And so, although it's not always easy for me to get up in front of people and share some of the stuff that I shared, I knew that it was an opportunity that doesn't come very often, so it was really awesome to be able to speak in front of people that I consider heroes and to just share my story. And to be a part of that foundation is such a cool thing. And I remember afterwards I went up to the woman that was organizing the event, and I just said, anything you have going on, I want to be a part of it, because this was such an impactful event for me. And I can't say enough good things about the Women's Sports Foundation.
Did you get some good feedback after you spoke? I mean, honest,
Yeah.
people came up and said, hey, I learned something?
Yeah, I think a lot of people came up, and again, I shared very vulnerably because I was sharing my story.
Right.
And you don't realize when you're going through things, you're just going through it. You're not trying to make history, or you're not looking for the fireworks. You're just trying to get through it.
Right.
And then time passes, and you're standing up in front of these people, and you realize people can relate. People go through this. That's why we have a Women's Sports Foundation, and we need more people to stand up and share their story, to realize we're all in this together, and I got a really good response. A lot of people approached me afterwards. People were very engaged even while I was speaking. So again, it was just, I'm really glad I did it. To be honest, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to share some of those things, but I'm really glad I did. I'm really grateful that I got to.
Okay, when I say Sunkissed Kids, what do you say?
Is the best club in the world.
I mean, and you've always talked about how the club and, and the Martori family and all that has helped you.
Oh my gosh, they really are like my family. I mean, Art is he's like a dad to me. I mean, he good, bad, and ugly. He's pretty hard on me,
Right.
And I think it's always helped me. When I've needed it to, and sometimes I'll literally I'm like, Kim, I would have said hi, but I didn't want Art to lecture me. He's hard on me in a good way, in a way that I think I need, and Kim is somebody I can call up anytime. We meet up for coffee. Now we're in the same state. We're both super busy, so we don't always see each other, but Sunkist is truly a family. I mean, I would have no career if it weren't for Sunkissed Kids. And they really kind of picked me up at a time where I think I was 5th or 6th on the ladder at a non-Olympic weight. I mean, I wasn't winning anything, and they picked me up. So, I mean, I'm super grateful for what they've done for me personally and for my career.
How cold is it in Iowa after being at Phoenix?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even, I went to drive the car, and I couldn't even drive because my fingers were so cold for 30 minutes. So luckily I packed a few warm things that I had to dig out of retirement.
Well, right? You've wrestled in Russia. So.
I know, but you forget when you're packing in somewhere that only gets down to 50, you forget, oh, it's gonna get cold there. I should probably pack an extra jacket. So that just comes comes with experience. But yeah, it's pretty cold here. But it's been okay.
What's your next competition?
Next competition will be in Sweden. It'll be the clip-on.
Yep.
And it's always a tough tournament. It's just a girls-only tournament, but it's always really competitive. A lot of really good Europeans, a few wrestlers from Asian countries, and of course the U.S. team. So I kind of like, when I was deciding what I wanted to do, I kind of looked at my last quad, and I just felt like Sweden would be a good trip to kind of sharpen things up before Olympic trials. So that'll be the next one for me.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for your time, Kelsey.
you.
Always fun.